welcome to the Backwoods Gourmet. Tonight we're going to make some venison meatballs. We're going to do it in the little 8-inch camp-made Dutch oven. I'm going to make it for two, so y'all stay tuned. So the first thing we're going to need to do is make our ground venison burger, and I'm going to use some of that brisket trim from the briskets we did for Christmas and mix in with that. It's going to be delicious. Here's how I did it. So here are the ingredients you're going to need to make tonight's dish. It's going to be very simple. You can absolutely do this at camp. Here is about maybe 3/4 of a pound of our ground venison burger. This is the one I run through the fine plate. Okay, it was ground twice through the coarse plate to help mix the fat evenly through it, and then once through fine plate. I've got some plain breadcrumbs. I've got some virgin olive oil. Our homemade steak and brisket rub. If you don't have that, use your favorite steak seasoning. 1 egg, a large sweet onion. We have some cornstarch dissolved in cold water. Add some beef broth right there. And of course we need a knife, and you just see us put on, we're preheating the 8-inch camp-made Dutch oven. I'll show you how to put it together. So we're gonna jump right into it, guys. I go ahead and kind of set some of this stuff out of the way, take a spot. I'm gonna go ahead, crack my egg in here. You don't have to do this in this order, but I find it's just easier to start that egg out first. Easier to mix it up without the meat being in there. All right, let's go ahead and open our package up of our venison, ground venison. Dump it in there. That hasn't been frozen yet, but if yours is frozen, that's fine. All right, again, it's going to be very simple. You can do this at camp. I'm going to go ahead and season it really well. All right, give it a good shot of seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and put about 2 tablespoons of my plain breadcrumbs on top, and I'm just going to chop that all up in there with everything. Now if you want to get fancier with yours, you can actually put your diced onion right in the meat. What I find happens if you do that is that the moisture from the onions will actually cause your meatballs to fall apart. So I save my onions for the gravy that we're going to make after we bake these guys off. So that's going to finish up and get it all well combined, and I find that your fingers probably going to work the best. It's a little cold out. We're going to use our hands to make the meatballs anyway, so you might as well get on in there. So I just moved my bowl over here to our stainless steel island just for the purpose of getting a better camera angle for you guys to see what we're doing. I'm just going to I let this sit for just a few minutes to help absorb the moisture absorb into the breadcrumbs. And I've spent a little time cutting through with that big wooden spoon till it gets kind of doughy and holds together really nice, and that's the trick. And you gotta spend a little time mixing it, and it'll start to get that tackiness, and that's going to help to hold your meatballs together. So I'm just going to go in and start getting them in like a heaping tablespoon at a time. And if this gets too sticky, just wet your hands, and I'm going to roll them just like Grandma used to do probably. You see the old Italian grandmothers making the meatballs. And we're just going to go through here and do that to all of them. You really want to put some pressure on them and try to get them all the same size. But I'm really giving some pressure on them to get them nice and round. So I'll finish up the rest and we'll get them going on that Dutch oven. I've had the little 8-inch camp made going over here for about 10 or 12 minutes. So before I take the lid off, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a tap. Notice I got a little bit of ash right here. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Dutch oven tool right there on that tab, tap that off. I'll go ahead and carefully lift this lid and put it over on the 4-in-1. You can see we already got a little bit of smoke, and we want it pretty hot. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of olive oil in there. Don't want a lot, just want enough to facilitate cooking. Grab my spoon here, we'll run that around a little bit. Kind of splashed up on the sides too, because things are pretty big. All right, so I'm gonna bring over my meatballs, and we're gonna drop them. We might have to adjust our heat. I don't think we will. These are cold, so they're going to take quite a bit of heat out of that pot. And we're just going to line them up all the way around. Hopefully we'll be able to get them all in there. We'll see. They're going to shrink down, so we might get all of but one. Squish them a little bit, we might get all of them. Alright, so it looks like that was just about the right amount. That one ain't quite going to nestle, but again, they're going to shrink. And we're going to be cooking them from the top and the bottom at the same time, because that top should be pretty hot. So we'll give that a few minutes and we'll go back in and check on it. Tonight we're using our DALSTRONG knife. If you guys would like to check out DALSTRONG knives, I'd highly recommend that you go check them out at least. I'll leave you the link in the description box below to their website where you can go see the entire line of DALSTRONG knives. They have some really cool knives over there. This one's called the Crisix, and it is very versatile. It works, combines a chef knife with a cleaver. I'm going to go ahead and just dice my onions. so you don't have to be perfect. But I tell you what, this knife right here, you better be careful. That thing will take your finger off. Alright, so we're going to be saving those for our gravy. But they're ready to go. Hey, while those meatballs are going up, tell you they smell awesome over there already. I wanted to remind you guys to go check out the description box below to some of our folks that help support our channel, like DALSTRONG Knives, like Stargazer Cast Iron, like Field Company Cast Iron. I'll make sure you got links to all of those sites, as well as our Amazon store. Everything that you purchase over there through our Amazon store, no matter whether we have it up there on the store or not, just use the search bar, buy anything on Amazon. Helps out for things we need right here in the outdoor kitchen to keep these great videos coming to you. So check them out down there. Try to support these people down in the description box below. We appreciate it. So everybody always complains I never give you cook times. And I don't, because it's always going to depend on your weather conditions, your humidity, what charcoal you're using. You see those are getting a little bit brown on the top now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go in and test the internal temperature. I don't want to dry them out. We're already hitting internal like 180. And that is fine for venison. It's going to be perfectly safe for wild game. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them off the fire. And now we're going to make our gravy. So I took that pot right on off there. Took them out. I left all the drippings in there. So let's grab our knife. Let's bring over our onions. That's one of the great things about the Crisix. You can just grab it on the side of the blade. Just like your cleaver. Bring them right over. Get that lid back on. We'll start letting them cook. What I've done now, since I've gotten the gravy going, is I pulled in the coals that I had scattered around the periphery. All right, I made sure the top is completely loaded, and I pulled all the other extras. We started a half a chimney of this B&B, and it burns a long time. Now I'm starting to see some steam coming out there because we're gonna need some boiling heat to make this sauce. So looks like it's coming up now. As soon as those onions are clarified, we'll go on and put some broth in there. All right, just took a couple minutes after I kind of stoked that fire. Set this over here on the 4-in-1. It's up to a nice simmer. Those onions are starting to clarify. I'm gonna go ahead and add just enough broth to kind of cover it. I don't want to get crazy here. Then we'll get the lid back on. Let that come up to simmer. Now, if you want to add some more seasoning to yours, you can go ahead and do it at this time. I'm going to take it easy with it just because Mrs. Backwoods is sensitive to salt. I am using broth from Better Than Bouillon, low sodium. But if you want a little more seasoning in yours, go ahead. I'm going to wait till the end. I'm going to try to let her taste it because I'm still corrupt, recently recovered from the coronavirus, and I can hardly taste anything, so I'll let her test it. Cabela, now that I want you, you're not here. Cabela! We haven't done Puppy Bomb in a while, so here's Miss Cabela. She is a mess. She's got on her sweater tonight. It's pretty chilly. You want to say hi to everybody on YouTube? Just don't lick the lens. So she's a little over a year old now. And she is learning to be Backwoods Gourmet cleanup crew for sure. Alright, so I'm starting to see the steam coming back up Ever since we put the broth in, that means that's ready. It don't really need to cook anymore. Those onions look just about perfect. So we got a nice stock going there. It's got all this dripping from the meatballs. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add some dissolved cornstarch, just a little at a time. I don't want this to be too thick. And here you could also, if you had it, which I may still put some in, you could add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire sauce, whatever you want to call it. So tonight we're going to serve this up for you Backwoods Gourmet style. I'm going to go ahead and take our plate. We'll lay some of our onion gravy right down the middle. Now feel free to, if you'd like, to go ahead and just put your meatballs right on back in there. Grab my tongs, these guys are pretty hot. Gonna line them up right down through there. Yeah, I think about 4 of these would be about perfect, entree size. Got them lined up right there. Got a little garnish, and this is something that people really don't appreciate. It's this celery leaves that I've diced or julienned. And they're very good over hearty dishes like this. So a little celery leaves over the top of it, just like that. You can use a number of things, cilantro, parsley, whatever. But that's a beautiful dish. So since I can't taste anything right now, we're gonna get Mrs. Backwoods out here and give it a try. All right, guys, since I can't really taste anything right now, I got Mrs. Backwoods out here. She's going to give us her honest opinion of my creation here. And we made this all the way from scratch. You've seen it from start to finish. So she's going to cut into the meatball right there.
And by the way, I'm negative.
Yeah, she just tested negative today, so she didn't get it from me. So you got to get some of that gravy. And she is my gauge for saltiness, for sure. Yeah, you gotta get that gravy. It's gonna let us know how it tastes.
Good.
She's going back for another bite, so it must have been pretty good.
You're starving me.
Not starving you, that's for sure. So, just real quick, does it really, can you tell that you're eating deer, or is there like a game, any kind of a game flavor or anything like that to it?
No gamey flavor, but of course I already know it's deer.
You know, but that's because we age our deer meat. Okay, we age our deer meat. So, would you say that's some decent meatballs, or what do you think?
Decent meatballs.
Decent. All right. All I got was a decent. So I've been out here all afternoon, and it was a part of the day yesterday making the ground venison to make these meatballs. And I've been busting my butt out here in the cold weather tonight, getting the gravy, showing you guys, trying to film all this, and I got a decent from Mrs. Backwoods. You know, hey, I guarantee you, most of you guys will probably be happy with decent right there at camp. So if you like what we're doing, please smash that like button right down there. You can subscribe to our channel right over here for another great Backwoods Gourmet video. It's going to be right there. And for a whole playlist, cast iron Dutch oven cooking, it'll be right up there. We'll see you next time.
You should have said, I'll take decent.
All right. 3. You can cut that with a fork.
Can I cut it now?
2. No, hang on.